just the police ones, just the police ones. If you wonder what I'm talking about, well, when they come out on track, you'll find that out. Pandemonium. World champion. Great to see then the BriSCA Formula Ones here at Swaffham Raceway this afternoon for their debut here on this Norfolk circuit, deep in the heart of Fenland. And 129, they're really hurtling down that home straightaway and quickly finding out what the Swaffham fence is all about. That's Steve Lewin. BriSCA Formula One stock car racing then at its best, the very best in the country. Let's see how it's going to unfold. Paul Corker on the spot there in that third place in the 141 car. He's going well. 53, John Lund, someone always got huge respect around the circuit, as has at 515, Junior Wainman. So the action beginning to fly around the circuit now. That's just what we want to see. Plenty of metal crunching mayhem from the BriSCA Formula One stock cars. Murray Harrison, I can see there in car number 97, really getting the worst of that torrid third and fourth bend corner. So the race leader just goes through. That looks as though it's Paul Lowe in the 410 car. He's ahead of 21, which is Mark Gilbank. Keith Chambers, 250, moving through into that third spot as 302 finds the pace a bit too hot. So Keith Chambers then flying down the home straight. He's moving through quickly as well. We've got to change up front because of Mark Gilbank in car number 21 has now taken it up over the start and finishing line. This time it's 21, 410 and 250. Keith Chambers in fourth spot. We've got 515, Junior Wainman. And not too far adrift of the pace. We've got 53, John Moore. Paul Corker in reverse down that back straightaway. He's not going to be winning this. And we've got a wave yellow situation then. For an incident at the bottom end of the stadium, BriSCA Formula One's then setting Swaffham Raceway alight on their very first appearance. Keep them rolling, Mr. Starter, keep them running. So plenty of contact, plenty of excitement already in BriSCA Formula One stock cars. Heat 1 here at Swaffham. The first 5. That, in fact, is your race leader. He's going through with Junior Wainman then carving his way through the field past 2 cars around turns 1 and 2 at the pit end of the stadium, and going pretty quickly as well now is Junior Wainman in 515. We're coming through then to halfway this time. Mr. Starter halfway, Conlon 280 coming to grief down the home straightaway, swerving and swaying about. He tries to put that power down, and it comes to a grind in halt just before the start and finish line. 327 and 9, Keith Neville. Other casualties. So then there's the race leader then, Mark Gilbank in the 21 car. Oh, Paul Corker then swerves about, does that pirouette 180 degree turn there. On turns 1 and 2, a local hero is young Paul Corker. It'd have been good to see Paul Corker or Bugsy Newson win this. We're coming up to the 5 next time. Mr. Starter 5 next time for that race leader. It is 21, Mark Gilbank. And in close pursuit now is 515, Junior Wainman. This is the battle raging up front. It's still Gilbank, Wainman poised and primed, ready to pounce on that lead car of the 21, Mark Gilbank. Gilbank pulls away slightly down that back straightaway, gives himself a bit of breathing space. Let's see what he can do. He goes high, wide and Nelson, and that's all Junior Wainman needed. Just a glimpse of a gap. Junior Wainman 515 comes careering through and now sets sail towards that checkered flag. BriSCA Formula One stock cars, Heat 1, Swaffham Raceway. It's 515, 21. And these two are well clear. The rest of the grid strung out like last week's washing. 5:15 from 21. 53, John Lund comes across the line. He's got a puncher then in that rear wheel. That obviously gives his true reading why he's not making progress. 2:15, Geoff Nickolls is in third spot, and 3:43, Barry Heath is in fourth. The last lap board then out to 5:15, Junior Wainman. He's got a 20 or 30 metre lead over 21, Mark Gilbank, and these two have got the race entirely to themselves. No one's going to stop Junior Wainman plugging up yet another race victory. History being made then by Junior Wainman. Wins the first ever BriSCA Formula 1 stock car race here at Swaffham. Car streaming over the line there. Just to reiterate what we said a couple of times before the meeting, thanking the BriSCA Formula 1 drivers for their cooperation in bringing the show cars here to Swaffham. Reds on the circuit, Mr. Starter. And as you can see, hopefully it's going to make the racing all the more competitive. We do thank those for their cooperation then. Junior Wainman, as so often in the past, he's with that checkered flag and he's got Swaffham Raceway off to a rip-roaring start right away around the circuit. Scene then set for BriSCA Formula 1 stock cars. Heat 2. .129 then the leader in the very early stages of this one. The race still in its infancy. 1:29. Steve Lewin about to be passed by. Oh, in fact, he's not. Here's your leader, 1:29 then. Steve Lewin leads from 410 Paul Lowe. 1:41 Paul Corker moving through as well. Good to see Paul there. 3:02 as well. Over the pace in the early stage, and Keith Chambers in 2:50, all ready, making rapid strides around the circuit, just in front of 21 Mark Gilbank. Rob Bromiley 14, finding the pace just a little teeny weeny bit too hot at the moment. Peter Falding going well in one, ahead of 5:15 Junior Wainman. Race leader already down through the start and finish line, down that back straight into turns 3 and 4 with quite a commanding looking lead as well in these early stages. Steve Lewin, he's your race leader, 1:29, 410 in that second spot is Paul Lowe, and third 2:50 Keith Chambers ahead of 1 Peter Falding, 21 Mark Gilbank and 5:15 Junior Wainman. That cross-straight car on turns 1 and 2 causing problems for that racing line. Drivers having to decide whether to switch inside or outside. Looks as though probably the inside racing line is probably the quickest. That's certainly been favoured by the drivers in second, third and fourth, chasing down Steve Lewin in 1:29. He went outside last time. A good battle raging then in second spot. There they go, 3 abreast over that start and finish line. Halfway next time. Steve Lewin then still leading as Junior Wainman comes through in second spot in 5:15 ahead of Peter Falding, number 1 at 2:50 Keith Chambers. And these three then, these doyens of BriSCA Formula 1 stock car racing, they're beginning to home in and close on 1:29. Steve Lewin though still leading the pack. A merry dancer. We come into the second part of this race, but it's now quite visible the ground at 5:15 Junior Wainman at 1. Peter Falding beginning to make up as they pull clear of Keith Chambers 2:50 in that fourth spot. They're in turn ahead of 21 Mark Gilbank. Tarzan comes zipping through and Junior Wainman's got the lead. Steve Lewin chose the outside line, messed it up. 5 this time, Mr. Starter, 5 this time. It's Junior Wainman then in control from number 1, Peter Falding. Junior Wainman then dominating now from the front, beginning to stamp his class and character all over BriSCA Formula 1 stock cars. Heat 2 here at the superb Swaffham Raceway. Pull that board then out as Junior Wainman inches ahead. The back markers now slowing him up slightly. 400, Jim Conlon slowed him up, and that's allowed Peter Falding to close that gap quite significantly. Just where he can latch on to that bumper of Junior Wainman car is, of course, another matter. Junior Wainman then, a master of his craft. BriSCA Formula 1 stock cars weaving and ducking and diving the way through those back markers down that back straightaway. Now the leader's got a clear track ahead of him as he comes to take the two-lap board from your starter, Mickey Bulldog. It's 5-on-5 and 1. These two got the race between them. Are we going to get an attack coming from Peter Falding as we run through to the closing stages and the climax of BriSCA Formula 1 stock cars Heat 2? The last lap board comes out, not too long there for Peter Falding to make his move on that 5-on-5 car of Junior Wainman. Junior Wainman then edging just that a little bit clearer down that back straightaway. Looks as though he's got his second heat victory of the day in the bag. It is 5-on-5, Junior Wainman takes the checker flag once more to complete that double. Peter Falding limps over the line. A massive scramble up there, will loose as well from the 2-1-2 car of Frankie Wainman. Just beginning to fly. We got red straight away on the circuit with the prostrate Frankie Wainman car minus a meal, wheel even down that home straightaway. The master of his craft then quickly getting to grips with the Swaffham circuit, Junior Wainman. All eyes on Mr. Starter then. He's got the greens. Away we go. BriSCA Formula 1 stock cars, Heat 3. So straight away we get some pretty awesome exchanges up there on turns 3 and 4. All the cars still circulating at a pretty tremendous and dramatic pace. No one going as quick at the moment as 53 John Lund, who's really putting on the pressure on the 343 car. Down that back straight, 343. Is up Barry Heath now tucking into Lund's slipstream. They're all trying to cut down this race leader, and the race leader comes off at turns 3 and 4 back down the home straight. It's 129, Steve Lewin again. He's quickly got to grips with the Swaffham Raceway. Thoroughly enjoying himself. 3:45 in that second spot. Gary Coyle. 215 Geoff Nickolls, and already John Lund then herring his way through into that fourth berth. And he's going to be a match for the best, as he is, of course, all around the country. Jim Conlon, 400, pirouetting and spinning into that safety fence. That's effectively ended Jim Conlon's chances. And there's 14, Roger Bromiley as well. He's not going to be winning. Meanwhile, all eyes on your race leader. It's still 129, just ahead of 3:45. Gary Coyle and Steve Lewin, Gary Coyle and John Lund in 53 in that third berth. But as yet at a very respectable distance, with the pace beginning to hot up front. The battle royal is all Steve Lewin then flying down that home straightaway. And a roll over that Steve Lewin gone, follow that contact with Gary Coyle. Race on wave yellows, race on wave yellows. So then pretty explosive action then from the BriSCA Formula 1 stock cars. Steve Lewin then just getting on that curve. Pirouetted in and ricochet. Steve okay then, nice to see Steve shaking and stir, but nothing too underworld. This is a pretty explosive and electrifying BriSCA Formula 1 action on the Formula's debut at the Swaffham Raceway. green flag comes into play once again, and Gary Coyle takes up the running as we go into the second half of this BriSCA Formula 1 stock cars Heat 3 on their debut at Swaffham Raceway. Gary Coyle then about to have to fend off the challenge from 53 John Lund, which is about to be launched any second now, as the 53 car lines the Gary Coyle car up after turn 4, powers down that home straightaway into turns 1 and 2 and begins to step on the gas even more. And surely now John Lund, barring mechanical misfortune, is going to clinch this victory, particularly with that clear track ahead of him as we go clearly on running well inside the second half of this race. 53 then, 3:45, 2:15, 3:43. And 8:77 now, visitor from New Zealand, Bryce Penn, getting up there as well in 5th spot. 5 this time, it's start of 5 this time, 53 at 3:45. They pulled well clear of 3:43. Barry Heath, who's in clear, then closely followed in fact by 2:15 Geoff Nickolls, and NZ77, which is Bryce Penn, all the way from New Zealand in 5th spot. No question then about John Lund's superiority now as he passes the back mark and not exerting himself over much, just keeping himself a respectable distance in front of 3:45 Gary Coyle as the 3-lap board comes out. Gary Coyle, the closest pursuer on the raceway, and then a very long gap indeed. And it's good to see Bryce Penn in 77 come through into that 3rd spot as he limbers up for the World Championship. Ahead of 3:43 Barry Heath and Geoff Nickolls, and 2:12 Frankie Wainman. All eyes then on this superb demonstration of BriSCA Formula 1 stock car racing from 53. The master himself, the Grandmaster, John Lund, takes the last lap board from your start of this afternoon. Mickey Baldoff down that back straightaway. He's got another victory well and truly in the bag. John Lund, it is, 53, takes the checkered flag. Gary Coyle 3:45 in that 2nd spot. And in 3rd spot, it's good to see Bryce Penn in 77. 3:43 Barry Heath, 2:05 Geoff Nickolls. Following John Lund over the line, we've got Reds, Mr. Sutter. Reds on the circuit, please. Reds on the circuit. Custom position 53 John Lund, the ever mercurial superstar from Lancashire. All eyes on the circuit then as we get off and running. BriSCA Formula 1 Stock Car Grand Final. First one ever held at this Skegness Swaffham Raceway. It really was there for a moment. And what a sight these BriSCA Formula 1 stock cars are when they really do set the stall out and perform as we know only they can. BriSCA Formula 1 stock cars there. At the best, the very best in Britain, no questioning that. And good to see a local driver in front then from Norwich is 16 Bugsy Newson, leading the pack through. 410 Paul Lowe and 3:45 Gary Coyle in close proximity. In that 2nd and 3rd place, Gary Coyle brushes aside for Lowe there in the 410 car, but it's still Bugsy Newson up front. These then passed by Gary Coyle going into turns 1 and 2. Really would be great if we could have a local Norfolk driver snatching a race victory. Of course they are heavily outnumbered. Race victories today then. 2 heats going to Junior Wainman, the other one going to John Lund. Who's going to come through and clinch this final win? Plenty of clattering, plenty of metal crunching mayhem on the corner lines of the race. That does settle down then. It's Gary Coyle leading now. Junior Wainman 5-1-5, scorching around the circuit in that second spot. Newson 16 still there in third, ahead of 53. John Lund on the move, as is 250 Keith Chambers. But it's still Gary Coyle then with 50 or 60 metres now to the good over. It's 5-on-5 Junior Wainman, and then John Lund moving there into that third spot in 53. He takes Keith Chambers 250 through with him in fourth, as Bugsy Newson 16th begins to find the pace too hot, but he's there in that fourth spot, still fending off Paul Lowe and Bryce Penn from New Zealand. Halfway then, Mr. Starter, halfway next time as Gary Coyle begins to weave his way through the back markers, and his lead now visibly disappearing as Junior Wainman turns on the gas in pursuit of the 345 car. You can see now Junior Wainman really beginning visibly to close that gap. 5-on-5 in that second berth, looking for victory, which would mean he'd complete a hat-trick. Still all to play for then. The two main protagonists locked together, but Junior Wainman comes through on the inside. Gary Coyle won't be denied. He's hanging on doggedly, and Junior Wainman then finally comes through, asserts his authority, takes up the running. 5-on-5 from 345. And John Lund is next best through in that third spot, but some way adrift, and he is in turn clear of Keith Chambers in the 250 car. Up front then, setting everyone a merry dance now, is 5-on-5. Junior Wainman, Gary Coyle in second spot. He's beginning to infiltrate the back markers and not coming through all that smoothly past Bugsy Newson, who was a leaner at one time, now finds himself lapped. And we're running through to the checkered flag in earnest. 5 next time. Mr. Starter 5 next time. Junior Wainman 5-on-5. Gary Coyle 3:45. 53. John Lund making some impression now on Gary Coyle. One casualty is Bryce Penn there with a real wheel puncher from New Zealand. 77 comes to grief just near the start and finishing line. He's been improving right through the afternoon as he prepares for the forthcoming World Championship Grand Final. 5-on-5 then, 3:45 and 53. Junior Wainman now with virtually a clear track ahead of him. He's certainly in a position to consolidate his first 2 heat victories. His closest pursuer is still Gary Coyle in 3:45, but John Lund in 53 is beginning to edge closer to that runners-up spot. That's where all the real action is, the battle for second spot. As Junior Wainman then comes scorching through, takes that 2 lap to go board. Still Gary Coyle fending off John Lund, but John Lund's got that inside racing line around turns 3 and 4. And he begins to earn his authority now over Gary Coyle and comes through in second spot, but he's probably left it too late to catch Junior Wainman. We're already through on the last lap down that back straightaway. Junior Wainman powering to another victory around turns 3 and 4. Cool, calculated and very confident. Junior Wainman takes the checkered flag ahead of 53. John Lund. 3:45. Gary Coyle hanging on doggedly to that third spot. And Bugsy Newson there gets a puncher in the 16 car and comes across. Oh, Reds, Mr. Starter. Reds on the circuit. Reds on the circuit. Taken Swaffham by storm. 2 heats and grand final victory. You can't get much better than that. Still the Grand National to come. What will he make of that 1 lap handicap in the Grand National? We'll soon find out. For the time being then, let's show your appreciation for another superb drive from Junior Wainman. So then the final event of the BriSCA Formula Ones here at Swaffham on their debut at the Norfolk circuit. I must say I've really enjoyed it as well. So Junior Wainman then with it all to do from that one lap handicap, and it's Gary Coyle 3:45 leading the pack through in the very early infancy of this Formula One Grand National. Great, as we say, to see the Formula Ones here at Swaffham. I'm sure the circuit's reputation and facilities will be spread, and hopefully the Formula Ones will form a regular part of our package here in Norfolk next year. Still then 3:45, Gary Coyle. Leading them through from 14, Roger Bromiley is just passed by one at Peter Falding at 53. John Lund in contention, just ahead of 250 Keith Chambers. And still Junior Wainman not really making any impact on the lead cars. 3:45 leading 5 this time. This is the start of 5 this time. And that leader is Gary Coyle in 3:45, leading 1, Peter Falding at 53, John Lund 250, Keith Chambers. Followed through by 14, Roger Bromiley. 77 doing well as well, Bryce Penn. A casualty is 212, Frankie Wainman. Tough then on Frankie Wainman, or he looks as though he might as well pull off the circuit. Indeed he is doing. The pressure on then up from 3:45. Gary Coyle then now coming under attack from number 1, Peter Falding. And Peter Falding surges through. The world champion comes through right on the inside. Pushes aside Gary Coyle. John Lund edging ever closer to the Gary Coyle car as well, and Peter Falding now setting sail for that checkered flag. John Lund comes through in that second spot. Let's see if John Lund can make any impression at all on the number 1 car. It's Falding with 1 lap to go. 1 from 53, John Lund at 3:45, Gary Coyle. So in this quick 10-lap dash, BriSCA Formula One Grand National at Swaffham. Reaching his climax, Peter Falding comes off turn 4 down towards the checkered flag. He takes the race wing honours, gets the checkered flag. John Lund 53 is second, and 3:45 Gary Coyle comes home in that third spot ahead of 250 Keith Chambers, 215 Geoff Nickolls, and at 515 Junior Wainman from that 1 lap handicap, finishing in 6th spot, and that's a very creditable effort when you consider the shortened race distance. Reds on the circuit, Mr. Stoddard. Reds on the circuit. 53. John Lund was second at 3:45. Gary Coyle in 3rd spot.